You've had a bit of a swipe at Marco Silva in the past.
I think Ronald Koeman might take exception to the fact that there hasn't been anything achieved at Everton recently, but go on.
Well, you've got to take a step back and listen to that, though, Simon, have you not? To be fair to Marco Silva, do you not like language like that? He's trying to bring the best version of himself every time he can.
I do.
I have to prove, first of all, to myself, I'm improving every single time, and I've got to do that every single day. I mean,
yes, I do.
Fair play. No,
good for him. Gone through the curve. You've got to call things for what they are, and you've also got to be equitable when they change. I felt the way he behaved when he went from Hull to Watford, and when he pretty much downed tools to go to Everton because it suited him to, was a disgraceful way of conducting oneself. Do I think he was an unadulterated failure at Everton? No, I don't. And he's quite right to point out the fact that he did okay. Wasn't great, but did okay. He got cast into the wilderness, learnt a lesson, came back, and is now, I think, a more rounded and a far better manager. I like him a lot more than I did previously. I will retain and maintain that it's right to look at these guys and say, how about you have some bleeding integrity? How about you have some... And you'll say, well, it's Watford, they were going to get rid of him anyway. But that's not the point. The point is that he behaved in a way which I think is very typical of certain managers at certain stages in their career. Where's the bigger, better deal? Where's the bigger, better deal for me? Well, you haven't got a right there. You haven't earned your stripes yet. And he got served up at Everton because he thought it was better to jump out of Watford. And I know Watford is always going to be a flawed argument because you know that around the corner from Watford is a potential disposal. That's only if you're not doing your job properly, by the way.
But having said that, Simon, you're always going to say that. From your time at Palace, this was done to you.
No, I'm going to say it because...
And you're still sore about that?
No, it's not. And I'm also going to say that when people change their view on things and do things differently and evolve... that they should also be given the prerequisite amount of applause for it.
So he's in the good books now?
No, he's not in my good books. He's doing what a manager should do. He's working and earning his corn, producing a decent side, and learning and evolving all the time. I think he's a decent manager. I've watched him all season. I think his Fulham team is something to be proud of because there's been a couple of incarnations of Fulham that have gone up over the last 2 or 3 years that have spent inordinate amounts of money and not been reflective of anything or anyone. I think he's managing under slightly difficult conditions at Fulham because you've got this incredibly wealthy owner with a son that's like, tinkering with a train set sometimes. And I think he's doing really well. I think his side are really good, and I think he's a really decent manager. I maintain that I was right to say what I said about him 3 years ago.
But when you look at it, well, you're not picking the wrong fight, because since Silva's sacking, Everton's dugout's been filled by Big Duncan, Ancelotti, Benitez, and now Frank Lampard. Does that not show that Everton's issues in the past few years have not been down to those who are in the dugout, but definitely those who are in the boardroom?
But they haven't been a solution either, have they? The purpose of the manager is to go in and provide the solution. The owner's got enough bleeding problems, he doesn't need another one. The manager's job is to provide solutions. So he hasn't been part of the solution either. I'm not digging him out for what he did at Everton. I'm picking him out and digging him out for what he did at Watford. What he did at Everton was bat his eyelids at the bigger, better opportunity. When he got there, he got precisely what he deserved. Served up. Out you go, 18 months, that's the end of you. Into the wilderness, comes back, took a backward step. Which direction of travel is better? Well, they both suck. Everton nearly got relegated. Fulham were in the Championship last year.
He's a better trajectory, you could argue, than Everton.
No, why so? He's just come up from a Championship side. They're doing okay. Everton nearly got relegated to the Championship last year. Fulham were in the Championship and got promoted. So neither one of those teams, neither one of those is a trajectory that you want to say, well, look at that trajectory. That's something to aspire to. But the bottom line is probably neither one of them. But he is now 45 years of age, and maybe something can be said about the fact that if he's a little bit younger, but at 42, 43, you're a grown man. You know the way the world works, but the football people don't. So I think that Marco Silva now is clearly a capable manager, and clearly Fulham have got a live one on their hands. And that's good. And it's good because they're a London football club. It's good because I like to see them doing well. I've always got a soft spot for Fulham going back many, many years from when Rodney Marsh and Georgie Best played for them in the mid-70s. So with all that in mind, I hope he continues and evolves into a person of integrity, because I think previously he hadn't operated that way.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.